So all these people praising Brian Mulroney in recent weeks are basically trying to show due respect to any prime minister, which is warranted. But I'm going to tell you about a piece of his history that I grew up with and I covered. And I'm not making this up. This is probably one of the biggest scandals in Canadian history. Kind of the basis for a Mulroney tell-all from a non-Mulroney side called On to Take. This is the Airbus Schreiber affair. Now, when I was a young journalist working for the Campbellton Tribune and the Moncton Times, we were made aware in the media on September 29, 1995, that the Canadian Department of Justice, acting on behalf of the RCP, sent a letter of requests to the Swiss government asking for information related to allegations that Brian Mulroney was involved in a criminal conspiracy to defraud the Canadian government. The investigation pertained to improper commissions allegedly paid to German-Canadian businessman Karl-Heinz Schreiber or the companies controlled by him, Brian Mulroney and former Newfoundland Premier Frank Moores, in exchange for a trio of government contracts. These contracts involved the purchase of Airbus industry aircraft by Air Canada, the purchase of helicopters by the Canadian Coast Guard from Messerschmitt Bolkow Blohm GmbH in '86, and establishment of a manufacturing plant for Thyssen light armored vehicles, the Bearhead Project, in the province of Nova Scotia, a project which Mulroney, as Prime Minister, had cancelled. The letter requests and its contents were to be kept confidential, but the letter was leaked to the media. As a result, Mulroney launched a $50 million libel lawsuit against the Government of Canada and the RCMP on November 20th, 1995. On January 5th, 1997, Mulroney agreed to an out-of-court settlement of $2.1 million with the Government of Canada and the RCMP. The Oliphant Commission report in 2010 stated that Mulroney accepted $225,000 from Schreiber, and former Justice Minister Alan Rock said he would use a different litigation strategy in this case had he known about these payments. Now, Mulroney initially denied receiving any money from Schreiber, which Schreiber alleges was a total of $300,000 in installments of $100,000 in three separate occurrences between '93 and '94, given to Mulroney under code name Britain, in brown paper envelopes bags in denominations of $1,000 during secret hotel exchanges. Later, on February 2nd, 1998, Schreiber met with Mulroney at Mulroney's invitation to the Hotel Savoy in Zurich, where, before a spread of smoked salmon and appetizers, Mulroney tried to get Schreiber to verify that nothing could connect him to the money. Later on, when further information was leaked to the public, Mulroney stated that there was nothing wrong with accepting envelopes of $1,000 bills, which he put in the safes and safe deposit boxes, without reporting tax on it as income for years after. This revelation led to the moniker Brown Bags Mulroney being given to Mulroney at the time. The Oliphant Commission, presided over by Justice Jeffrey Oliphant, reported on May 31st, 2010, that Mulroney failed to live up to the standard of conduct that he himself adopted in the 1995 Ethics Code. Oliphant said he could not accept Mulroney's testimony that his acceptance of $220,000 in cash was an error in judgment. Rather, it was an attempt to hide the transactions. Now, ironically, this was more freakiness going on. Mulroney played an influential role by supporting the merger of the Canadian Alliance Party, successor of the Reform Party, ended with the Progressive Conservative to form the Conservative Party of Canada. Mulroney joined the new party upon its formation in 2003. This distinguished him from other prominent PC politicians, such as former Prime Ministers Joe Clark and Kim Campbell, who became independents as they believed that the Conservative Party was too right-wing and drifting towards social conservatism. According to press reports, Mulroney's membership lapsed in 2006. In early 2009, he called a high-ranking person of the party and asked that his name be removed from all party lists due to his anger at the continuing inquiry into his financial affairs, although he denies this claim. As at a Mulroney confidant, speaking on the condition of anonymity, called the party's claims preposterous. He's part of the history of this party. You can't rewrite history. If they're worried about branding, they shut the inquiry down. They're the ones who called the inquiry. Now, months before the 2015 federal election, Mulroney endorsed Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Mulroney also campaigned for Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole in the run-up to the 2021 Canadian election. Just a month and a bit later, Mulroney criticized him in the matter of COVID-19 vaccinations, stating he should show leadership and expel unvaccinated MPs from the Conservative caucus. In October 2022, Mulroney said he supported the Conservatives' new leader, Pierre Poilievre, but urged him to move closer to the political center. So he was out of pretty well the Joe Clark area in 76. He was lucky to become a prime minister, but I think now upon his death is going to give more time for the media to do more investigation in the Airbus affair. Now, the Airbus affair has been something that's what you call unbelievably strange. Now, the Airbus itself affair refers to allegations of secret commissions, again, to Prime Minister Brian Mulroney and other members of the Ministry in exchange for then Crown Corporation Air Canada's purchase of large number of Airbus jets. The chairman of Airbus, a European consortium at the time of the contract competition, was Franz Josef Strauss, a high-profile German politician in Bavaria. The order in question had long been pending, and both Boeing and Airbus had been competing heavily for the contract. Both offered shared production to Canada, and Boeing went so far as to buy de Havilland Canada to further strengthen that bargaining position, as well as to gain access to the feeder liner market where they, at the time, had no presence. The contract was eventually won by Airbus in 1988 with an order for 34 A320s, as well as the sale of some of Air Canada's existing Boeing 747. Boeing immediately put de Havilland up for sale, thereby putting that company in jeopardy, but the blame for this was generally placed on the government. Now, that letter itself was not something that a lot of people knew were coming. Now, the media kind of, stayed on the case for quite some time, and as a provincial investigative reporter, I didn't do much on the federal side. But journalist Steve Cameron wrote about the scandal and Schreiber's links to the Mulroney government in her 1994 best-selling book, On the Take, Crime, Corruption, and Greed in Mulroney Years. The CBC's The Fifth Estate produced a documentary in March 1995, which revealed a secret side agreement between Airbus and a Liechtenstein shell company, International Aircraft Leasing, which received millions of dollars in secret commissions after the sale of Airbus aircraft to Air Canada. William Kaplan responded to Cameron and CBC in his 1998 book, Presumed Guilty, criticizing journalists for lacking evidence. Now, in October 1999, the Fifth Estate obtained Swiss Bank Corporation records would reveal that Schreiber had set up a secret bank account in Zurich with the code name Britain, Britan, for Brian with a tan, for which three cash withdrawals again were made in 1993-94. 2 years later, Cameron and Fifth Estate producer Harvey Cashore wrote a book about a Schreiber called The Last Amigo. In 2004, Kaplan clarified a position in a further book, A Secret Trial, by criticizing Cameron for a role as a confidential RCP informant on the Airbus matter, and Mulroney for not disclosing the fact that he received the $300,000 from Schreiber. Now, on February 8, 2006, Schreiber stated in the Fifth Estate interview that the money from the Britain account came at a request of Mulroney aide, who told him the former Prime Minister was cash poor. Schreiber mocked Mulroney's claim that the money was a consulting fee for help given in a pasta business Schreiber had invested in. The program also reported there was no evidence that Mulroney knew of the source of the funds. The following year, the Globe and Mail and the Fifth Estate revealed that Brian Mulroney filed a voluntary disclosure with Revenue Canada several years later after accepting the cash envelopes from Schreiber. Now, obviously, this is something that's never going to be brought up in a modern time because the majority of stuff that happened in Canada in the late 90s and early 2000s involving the post-Mulroney years has been lost in the mist of time because people now are completely obsessed with thinking Justin Trudeau was the worst Prime Minister of all time. There only is one worst Prime Minister of all time. It's Brian Mulroney. I covered this bastard from 1984 onwards, and he not only ruined my country, he sold out the Canadians, he sold out the Indians, he sold out everybody. But this Airbus affair, I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to check out that Fifth Estate production, the different stuff. Brian Mulroney was only in it for one person, was Brian Mulroney. He was the Prime Minister of his own world. How he kowtowed to Reagan and stuff like that. See, I'm an objective journalist. Like I said, he freaked us over. Because what he did with Meat Lake and Oka there, unforgivable. And how he sold out the federal Progressive Conservative Party. He destroyed them. Only Kim Campbell and Elsie Wayne and Jean Charest left pretty much at the end. Even Kim lost. Just bizarre. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our take on Brian Mulroney with the Airbus affair. If you like what we're doing here with our True Life Political Podcast. Let us know what to like, comment, subscribe, or share. Bye.